Is Shaolin Monks getting a remaster? How about MK9? We're going to be talking about all of that and more, because there might be some evidence pointing towards this being more real than we may think. Recently, Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, made a poll on his Twitter account. Which game would you like to see remastered? In quotations for some reason. First, Shaolin Monks just barely won with 51.6% of the votes, with MK9 just ever so slightly behind with 48.4% of the votes, with a total of nearly 30,000 people participating in this poll. Now the quotations might be there, so we can just kind of interpret their vision as either a remake or a remaster, which are two distinctly different things. A remaster being the original version with higher resolutions, achievements, online multiplayer, all that good stuff. Whereas a remake would be a whole reimagining of the game, loosely based off of the original game, but with a lot of changes as well. The results of the poll and the number of people who voted is genuinely not surprising, given how much people love both of these games. MK9 was the beginning of the second timeline in the Mortal Kombat universe. I mean, it's kind of insane that we're at 3 now. Mortal Kombat originally started as a 2D game, I'm sure most of you know, then went to 3D with Deadly Alliance, but then back to 2.5D with Mortal Kombat 9, as well as resetting the entire timeline for the very first time. Mortal Kombat 9 kept the classic art style with very creative and witty writing.
That's it. Ha ha! And I'm taking you down, I'm taking you down, I'm taking you out, I'm taking you out, and I'm taking you out for dinner.
Ugh.
Now for your second challenge, Mr. Cage.
But this was the start of a very safe and predictable format that they've been able to stick with ever since. Shaolin Monks, on the other hand, well, this goes way back to when MK was not afraid to take risks. During this era, they changed from a 2D fighting game to a 3D, like we discussed earlier, but this is a way harder transition than the other way around. But Shaolin Monks, this is even more of an outsider. This game was a 3D action-adventure beat-em-up with an arena fighter versus mode. Imagine them taking a risk like that today? Honestly, could not see it happen. But here's where the real question comes in. Which game deserves the remaster or the remake treatment? Because while I love both games, and I truly mean that, to me, there's really only one obvious choice. And I think Ed Boon and the people over at NetherRealm Studios might just agree with me. And I've got a couple things to show you that make me think that this is more than just wishful thinking. But first, which game is it? Shaolin Monks, in my opinion, is the winner of the two. Don't get me wrong, seriously, Mortal Kombat 9 is the greatest game that they've made in the last 15 years. But Shaolin Monks is just way too special, way too unique to just pass up. Mortal Kombat 9 at the bare minimum has some semblance of modern features like online, but Shaolin Monks, that game's stuck on the PS2. You have to either resort to emulation or bust out your original PS2 if you want to experience the game. And that's just something most people are just not gonna do. And figuring out how to play PS2 games online, yeah, the average person, you lost them. They're not gonna do that. But now, since we know which game is more likely to get the remaster treatment, what evidence do we have to support this? Well, first, we have this tweet from Derek Kurtzik. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you don't know who that is, Derek is the lead system designer for the last 3 Mortal Kombat games and both Injustice games. And Derek just randomly, out of the blue, replied to a 9-year-old tweet from Ed Boon showing off an in-development picture of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Apparently, at one point, they didn't have the full vision of the game when they were first developing it because Raiden was supposed to be the only playable character in the game, and it wasn't even going to feature co-op at all. Personally, my guess is that they were going to do some sort of origin story for Raiden, or just the Mortal Kombat universe in general to really flesh out their lore. But back to the tweet, I don't think it's likely that he just wanted to quote this ancient tweet for absolutely no reason. I really feel like at the very least they're in the talks of getting something for us to play in the future. Whether it's Shaolin Monks, whether it's MK9, or maybe a 3D Legacy collection. Now, it's completely possible that he saw the hype and just wanted to add on to it, but given the fact that they recently released the Mortal Kombat Legacy collection, that makes me think that they're going to be cooking something up. And there's a reason that I'm bringing up the Mortal Kombat Legacy collection. That's because Atari owns Digital Eclipse. Digital Eclipse is the studio that brought us the MK Legacy collection. Now, Atari just last month in April of 2026 acquired a brand new studio, Implicit Conversions. This is a studio that specializes in PS1 and PS2 ports using their own created Syrup engine. This was the studio and engine used to port over the PS1 versions of the MK games in the Legacy collection. At the very least, this seems like the building blocks for an incoming 3D Legacy collection coming in the future, and I'm sure Shaolin Monks would be right there with the rest of the 3D MK games. But I mean, this isn't really a remaster, it's just a re-release. So maybe that's what the quotations are for in the original tweet. Only time will tell. But so far, that's really all we have to go off of. It's just kind of speculation. Personally, I am totally fine with a second collection rather than a remake or a remaster. Both of these games aged pretty well in my opinion. I would have tons of fun playing either of them with just the added benefit of modern enhancements like online achievements, crossplay, things like that. Be awesome. Genuinely cool, and I would be totally happy even if it's not a remake or a remaster. I mean, I haven't really been a fan of the latest MK games, especially with their art style, their character decisions. I do not trust them to mess with peak Mortal Kombat at all. Just, they can stay away. But that's all I have for you right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me exactly what you want to see from Mortal Kombat. Whereas in my Discord, we'll be running our very own poll to see what our community thinks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.